So guys, we're at 45 participants now and climbing, and it's 3:35. So we'll officially start. So welcome guys to the UE Young Investors Club. If you're here, you have done yourself a great deal because this club is something that can really positively impact your life. And by impact your life, I mean for the long run, like up till retirement, because investing is something so powerful, and that's exactly what we're here to guide you on. So before we get into it, guys, we're going to do some housekeeping matters, let you know what you can do to officially join this club if you want to really be a part of it and become an inductee at the end of the semester. So Hallie will guide us through that, and then we'll get into the good stuff. So Hallie?
So hi guys, just the first thing is that we're live streaming to YouTube, so the recording will be over there. So for everyone's information, we're currently being recorded, and I'm sorry if my background is loud, but I really can't over there right now. So most of you guys registered with our registration form, and you got an email talking about the requirements for the joining the club. And those requirements that you had to join 60%, or you have to attend 60% of meetings, which is about 4 or 5 meetings for the semester. You had to pay $1,500 for dues and $500 in induction fee. However, we have recently reopened our old bank account from like years and years ago, and we have a balance in there. So with that starting balance or that opening balance, we have decided to cut down the dues significantly and also just get rid of the induction fee completely, right? So previously it was $1,500 in dues and $500 for induction fee. We no longer have an induction fee, and our dues have been reduced from $1,500 to $1,000. So the total in fees that you have to pay for this entire year is $1,000. And during the course of the meeting, we will also present to you guys the banking information, and we will send all of those, everything that you need to know in the group as well. So we will say that again at the end of the meeting just to make sure that everyone understands, but I want you guys to understand who your exec is. So my name is Hallie Fletcher, and I'm the president of the Young Investors Club, and I will allow my colleagues, my wonderful exec, to introduce themselves.
Hi guys, I'm Victoria Parag. I'm your vice president for the year. So nice to meet you all and welcome.
All right, let me just call him Jason. You next.
Okay, hey guys, afternoon, welcome to this club. My name is Jason DeCambre, and I'm the Director of Investor Information. So my role is to provide you guys with the latest market updates and insights into what's going on, not only in Jamaica, but in the Caribbean and in the world at large. So looking forward to a great year.
All right, and the next person on my screen is Matthew Hutchinson.
Hello, good afternoon, guys. As Hallie said, Matthew Hutchinson, and I am the graphic designer for the year. So yeah, you guys are like most of the graphics that you see on social media, some of them are from me. So yeah, you guys can see my work throughout the pages and stuff. So yeah.
All right, next is Malik Smith.
Good afternoon, guys. I'm Malik Smith. I'm the Director of External Affairs. And this semester and this year, you're gonna learn a lot of like valuable information. So looking forward to it.
Matthew Baker, let's go.
Hi everyone, I'm Matthew Beckhoff. I'm the Director of Public Operations for this year. So I deal with a lot of the social media aspects of this club and the marketing of it.
Our next person is Ashley White. Let's go.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. You hear me, right, Ali?
Yeah, hearing you clear.
All right, so my name is Ashley White. I'll be the Director of Treasury for this academic year. Just wanted to welcome you all. And a reminder that write out your full names every time you come to the meeting so we can keep track of your attendance. Thank you.
Yeah, guys, we're not gonna send a Google form for you to, count your attendance. We're gonna write down whoever's in the call. So just make sure everything is okay with your name and everything like that. Next person is Shantae.
Hi everyone, my name is Shantae Brown. I'm the assistant PRO, and I will be working alongside Matthew Baker. Sorry,
Okay,
Matthew Fisher.
so that's the executive body for this year. And I'm telling you guys, we have an incredible team. They have been working so hard over the summer to just create the content and plan out for this semester. So I'd like to pass the hat to Matthew Hutchinson, because if you guys knew us from last year, you'd know that we had a little bit of a redesign for our club. So we have a new logo, new colors and everything. And, you know, it was such an incredible effort that we really have to give props to Matthew for how much he really put into this presentation. So we're going to allow him to share that presentation. Guys, don't leave because you think that this is not the meeting that you're expecting. We're getting into our back to basics. We're just doing some housekeeping right now. All right, so Matthew's going to be sharing his presentation and just explaining to you guys what this whole redesign is really about and what our new symbols really mean.
Guys, also this logo has so much to do with investing, so pay attention and get the insight from it because it's excellent, trust me.
Yeah, so thank you for that awesome introduction. So yeah, let's hop into it. So hold on, give me a second. Yeah, all right, great. So yeah, so as I said from before, I'm Matthew Hutchinson and I'm graphic designer for this year. And right now I'm just going to be hopping into how the logo is redesigned and why we redesigned it in the first place. So let's hop into it. So why, as I said, why did we redesign the club's logo? So first and foremost, we had some issues with the previous logo. We thought it was a pretty dated design, not one that was like suiting for for our club in 2021. And then we had a lot of compatibility issues with social media. We had a lot of issues with the color scheme as well. We thought we could be, you know, using a nicer color scheme, and we also thought it was a pretty cluttered design, which is something that ties back into the dated feel of the design as well. So then requirements for the new logo, we wanted a more flat and simplistic design, one that could work in different layouts, one that was better suited to our market of, you know, university students in 2021. And then we also wanted it to be better compatible with social media. So hopping into the design process, here I included some of my sketches. Honestly, I don't consider myself an artist at all, but I think it's still nice to like put down paper to pen and just pen to paper and see, you know, what ideas can come alive. And then you can see where I started to like, you know, pick up some of the ideas for some of the elements I use, such as the bowl, which you'll see in the final logo, which is this. So this is the logo that you'll see like on our Instagram currently, and I think on our Twitter and LinkedIn as well. So yeah, let's hop into it. Let's break it down. Let's dissect it. So first and foremost, color choices. Here you can see it's very clear that we use like a dark navy blue. So it's kind of to help develop that trust in the company, in the club. And you see that a lot of corporate companies using navy blues to help, you know, just develop that type of trust with customers. I wanted it to be the same for, you know, you guys as club members, you know, to have that trust in the club. And then we also have gold, which I'll hop into further why we use gold, but just a surface level thing. We thought the gold was like really nice, a nice bright popping color for the against the navy blue. So that's why we use that. And then also naturally we have white for like the text and background and stuff like that. And then hopping into the shapes and elements. So the main element that you guys will see is the bowl. So and if you guys know the investing market, you know that when the markets are going up, it's called a bullish market. And then obviously when they're going down, it's called a bear market, right? So we wanted to, you know, introduce the idea of the club being on an upward trajectory at all times. So we decided to use the idea of the bull and the representation of the bull as in the logo. So that's why that was used. And then hopping over to the golden bull ring. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but if you think about it, gold is a common investment asset as for investments, and it's used as like a type of diversification for individuals' wealth, to stabilize so that they're not only invested in one thing. So that's why gold is so iconic in the investing world. And they would also have chevrons or arrow patterns in the background, which harkens back as well to the stock market, arrows going up, and also introduces club movement and club growth, and those are the ideas that we wanted to associate with for the club and the logo. So, yeah. And then you can see that the logo is nicely enclosed in a nice ring. And then there's also a yellow ring just for that same pop of color again. And they will obviously have our name and or motto, I think it is, yeah, our motto, Billionaires in Training. And it works really well for social media, which I'll show you right now. This was just a mock-up that I did before we had introduced it into the actual social media page. Just a mock-up just to see how it would work, and I think it works really well, as opposed to the previous logo that had all the leaves and just a bunch of issues. This is really nice, really clean. It just works really well. And I will also wanted to see how the logo would work in real life as well. So I mocked up a couple of t-shirts as well. And PS guys, I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but we may or may not have merch coming. So you guys have to come out to every meeting so that you guys can know when and where and how to get your merch and stuff like that. So yeah. And then we have caps, mock-ups of caps. I had a couple hoodies as well, masks, in the society that we're living in today, really important. And yeah, with all of these, we just wanted to see how it would work in the real world, how the logo would work, with the branding of the club as well. Because you guys can even notice on the edge of the mug there, we have some of the same chevron patterns from in the logo, and it just works really nicely. Some water bottles. And then here we have a club banner. And obviously we have our times there, 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. every Thursday. So yeah, definitely come out to, all the other meetings to come as well. So yeah. And that's essentially it. This is that was our old logo, I should say, and then our new logo. I see especially how it works really well. If you guys head over to Instagram, I think you guys should definitely go to Instagram and look and probably hit follow as well. But yeah, you see how it works. The new logo really works for the club, and it ties in a lot of branding, even the chevrons and stuff like that. It does well for branding. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the logo that you guys will be seeing for the rest of the year at least. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening. And yeah, have a wonderful rest of the meeting, guys. Enjoy the rest of the meeting.
That's an incredible presentation. When I tell you guys that we were so impressed with what Matthew actually did, we couldn't believe what we were seeing. So we really appreciate it. And I'm actually seeing you guys follow us on Instagram right now. I'm seeing the notifications coming in. So I'm really happy that you guys are taking interest. And we're up to 75 persons, guys. And I know I saw quite a bit of familiar names. So we're going to get into the whole back to basics session. We're going to start right now. But first, I'm going to just put up a poll, right? Because I want to know how many persons actually have an investment account. I really want you guys to know. So please just watch the poll. It's supposed to come up somewhere down the bottom of the screen. So just go ahead and answer that while Victoria introduces the back to basics.
Great, guys. So while you answer the poll, there's 76 of you now, and it's only 349. And I just want to say to all of you, you're so incredible for being a part of this growing community, because we've come such a far way in terms of growing our club and where we are now. So you guys are a part of something really great. So congrats on that, and thank you so much for joining us. So what you're here for, how to start investing. Chances are some of you don't know anything about investing. Chances are you might have some good knowledge. You might be an active trader and you've been investing for years now. Any level that you guys are at, this is the place to be, because we're a community where we share so much knowledge with each other and we learn from each other. And that's why we're here to help you. So we're going to be breaking it down from scratch as we promised you. So stay tuned throughout the whole presentation. You're going to see exactly how to buy and sell stocks, the brokers that you need to contact. So stay right through till 5 o'clock, guys. And if you know people who want to be interested, who want to start investing, just send them the Zoom link because this is really going to be impactful. So let's start with a quote. So I don't know if you guys have heard of this book before called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you haven't heard of it before, you could check it out if you're interested in reading and getting knowledge. It's a really good book, but Stephen Covey, the author, he says, begin with the end in mind. So that's how I want you guys to begin your investing journey. So beginning with the end in mind, guys, here is the end, what I want you to envision by the time you're done these back to basics sessions, or if you manage to stick with us throughout the whole semester, here is where I want you to see yourself from now. So let's take a look at some stock market stuff, real life stuff, guys. So some of you this might be familiar to some of you if you were at Club Fusion. If you know, you know. So this chart was presented there. So guys, this might look really foreign to you right now, but by the end of the session or by the end of the semester, I want you guys to be able to look at this, analyze it, and see what the value is in this. So this is directly from the Jamaica Stock Exchange website. We will be going on that today, showing you guys exactly how to navigate it. Next slide. And this, I want you guys to see what it looks like live trading on the stock market. So this is a specific brokerage that uses this platform. You have a lot of options. We're going to show you that too. But as you can see, the times on it, guys, this is from this morning. If you know about the Barita APO, this is from Barita Investments Limited, as you can see by BIL. So you can see at 10:25, 10:24, right throughout, you can see trades being carried out. People are buying and selling stocks. You see that 3%, that 4%, that's money, that's gains people are making on their money. And I want you guys to envision this. One of these trades, one of these days, that is going to be you. So stay tuned and stay focused and absorb as much knowledge as you can. On this too, dividends. This might be a foreign word to you or a very familiar word to you, but we're going to break it down, guys. So as you can see, this is also from the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and this is a notice of dividends being paid to shareholders if you're invested in this specific company. It's pretty much like the company giving back to you shareholders some of their profits and saying, thank you for investing in us. Here is some of our profits. This is real, guys. This is directly from the stock exchange, and stay tuned so that you can be in tune with this. All right, guys, so we're going to show you a video. We're breaking it down from scratch. So from the ground up, we're starting with investing. So before we get into the stock market and all of that, check out this video about how investing really works and what it is about.
Imagine a world in which suddenly all the tools disappear. All buildings, cars, and machinery, or even basic tools such as knives, hammers, and shovels vanish. What would the economy look like if we had to do all the work with our bare hands? This is the situation in which the hero of this story used to live. On a remote island there was a fisherman. Maybe fisherman is too generous, because in a world without tools, his fight for survival was to jump into the sea and make desperate attempts to catch fish with his bare hands. It was not an easy life. All this effort resulted in catching just one fish per day, which is just as much as he needed to survive. One night, totally wet, with his eyes sore from the salt water, he was lying on the beach staring at the stars and thinking about how he could improve his life. Then he came up with a brilliant idea. If I could just extend the reach of my hand, I might be able to watch the fish from above the water and probably catch more. He decided that in the morning he was not going to catch fish. Instead, he would devote this day to implement his plan. He searched the woods, looking for a strong, straight branch, which with great effort he managed to break off. Then, with a sharp shell found on the beach, he tried to sharpen the tip of the stick, which took him many hours. Finally, that evening, he fell on the sand, exhausted from hunger. He didn't eat that day so he could build his invention. But he was happy because, in his imagination, he was already sitting on a heap of fish caught with the help of it. Falling asleep, he decided to call his invention Spear. In the morning, motivated, he grabbed the spear and began to work. Because the salty water did not flood his eyes, and a pointed end of the spear was more effective than his hands, he was able to catch 2 fish that day. Well, it was not a heap of fish yet, but the economy of the island did grow by 100%. More importantly, it opened up for him many more possibilities. He could now fish every second day, consuming his catch from the previous day. He could also go fishing every day, as before, and dry the excess fish and store it for worse times. Another option was to use free time to implement new ideas to increase his productive capacity. This would result in increasing his wealth and expanding the size of the island's economy. In this story, we come to a simple economic principle. Wealth is created through self-sacrifice and taking risks. The fisherman underconsumed and took the risk that his plan might not work, and that he would go hungry all day producing the spear needlessly. The fisherman's underconsumption can be simply called saving. In this case, the saving was a fish, which he would surely have caught if he had gone fishing. He used his saving to make a spear. The spear is a capital good, because it is part of his saving, which has no value in itself for the fisherman, but it serves him to get what he really wants. After all, the fisherman does not want to have a spear, he wants to have the fish. Capital is therefore a part of his saving, which he spent on increasing his own productivity.
So guys, based on that video, you saw that the painting was like put to you, right? The image was put to you that you're alone on an island and the only thing that you can do to eat is catch fish with your bare hands, right? So every day you catch 1 fish, no more, no less. Because imagine those stuff swim fast and they slip out of your hands. So you can only catch 1 if you stand up in the sun all day with the salt water splashing in your eyes and you're catching 1 fish. You can only catch a fish a day. You decide to forego a fish and you're dying with hunger, but you make a spear, and that spear allows you to be more productive in catching fish in the future. So by doing that, you would be sacrificing current consumption for future consumption, and that's called investing.
Okay, so is everyone hearing me?
Loud and clear.
Yes, so what are investments? Investments is basically the allocation of money for future gains and to getting back the money in the future. How do people invest? Could you scroll down, please? How does investment work? When you invest, you're giving your money the chance to work for you and your future goals. Investing is a way to particularly increase the amount of money you have. The goal is to buy investments at a low price and then to sell them at a higher price than what you initially paid. Types of investment objects. You have stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and interest trusts, and cryptocurrency. Sorry.
Yeah, so we have cryptocurrency, right? And that's just a small list of basically investments that we think are more accessible to persons our age or more popular for us. A lot of investment objects are a little bit, difficult to get access to. And Kina, I see your hand is raised. You can speak and say your part.
So the stocks. So as everyone should be familiar with the term stocks, but I'll just reiterate it. So a stock is also known as an equity. It is a security that represents the ownership of a fraction of a corporation. So, you guys hearing me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, loud and clear.
What are bonds? So a bond represents a loan made by an investor to a borrower, typically corporate or government. A mutual fund and unit trust. This is a term that is not really, people really don't know about, but what is the difference between a mutual fund and a unit trust? Mutual funds are investments that are made up of pooled money from investors, which hold various securities, such as bonds and equities. However, a unit trust differs from mutual fund in that a unit trust is established under a trust deed, and the investor is effectively the beneficiary of the trust. So the term cryptocurrency, so this is a term that has been used now since the 21st century. So a cryptocurrency is a digital currency that can be used to buy goods and services, but uses an online ledger with a strong cryptography. Here you have the Bitcoin, and then you have other coins that are being made now.
All right, so now that you guys have heard what an investment is, how they work, and some examples of investment objects, you're probably wondering what options are available to us as students. So the first one I'm going to get into is, of course, stocks. So while it can be risky to invest in, the stock market is certainly open to us as students. As said before, a stock, also known as a company's equity, represents a share of ownership in a company or corporation. The Jamaica Stock Exchange, or JSE for short, is one of the world's top performing stock markets because investors tend to earn high returns on their initial investments. Now, a stockbroker is the direct link between the client or investor and the stock market. These brokers buy and sell stocks on behalf of their clients, and some of them provide online trading platforms to allow clients to conduct these transactions on their own. An example of this online trading platform is the JMB Moneyline. Now, what makes the market accessible to us as young adults is that several of these brokers, such as NCB Capital Markets and JMB Securities Limited, are limited no money to open an investment account. So by investing in the stock markets, you can earn money through stock appreciation, also known as capital gains or dividends. So let's say you purchase a stock for $100, 100 Jamaican dollars that is, and the company increases in value, and this causes the stock price to increase to $115. You can then sell the stock to another investor and earn a profit. This is what is known as capital gains. Whereas dividends are periodic payments issued by companies to its shareholders, giving them a portion of the company's earnings. Mutual funds and unit trusts, which Tina previously defined and compared, also allow investors to earn from capital gains and dividends. So if you're interested in investing in mutual funds or unit trusts, you can check out companies such as JN Fund Managers, JMB Fund Managers, and NCB Capital Markets, among others. Now, another investment opportunity for students is, of course, Forex Trading, which I'm sure most, if not all of us, have heard about. You'll be on Instagram and you'll see random posts, and there are people in the comments recommending different Forex mentors or talking about their experience. So what is Forex trading? The foreign exchange market is said to be the largest financial market in the world. In this market, businesses, governments, and of course investors trade currencies. One currency is said to be traded against another, and this is known as a currency pair. Ali, can you move to the next slide, please? Right there, you can see an example of a currency pair where you have the euro versus the USD. The currency on the left is known as the base currency, and on the right is the quote currency. So just like stocks, the value of currencies fluctuates daily, and investors in the Forex market make predictions of how the value of the currency will move, whether up or down. These predictions determine whether the investor will earn a profit or a loss, making Forex trading far more volatile than stock trading. But it does tend to be more liquid, so it may be a better option for persons seeking short-term investments. Making money from foreign exchange or Forex generally requires a constantly profitable strategy. You have to perform the detailed research and practice needed to create that strategy. International brokers such as IQ Options, XM, FX Pro, Alpari, and Avatrade are known to accept clients from Jamaica. Some of these brokers require little to no minimum deposits, making this market accessible as well. Holly, can move to the next slide. Oh, you were there? Oh no, go back, go back. Yeah, so as you can see there, those are some examples of the international brokers available and the minimum deposit that they require. So if you're interested in investing the time and money into developing a trading strategy that will help you to earn profits, then Forex trading might be for you.
Yes, so guys, there's a lot of things to learn there. Like you have a lot of different things for us as students investing. And I just want to bring attention to the poll. Remember that we had this whole poll that says, do you have an investment account? And I think you guys can see the results. You can see that only 38% of us in the club actually have an investment club and 62% do not. So I'm hoping, and I'm going to put this poll up every single meeting because I want to see these numbers change, guys. It's something that you really have to put your mind to and go and get done, because it will affect your life in the future. It will affect how you choose to view this investing thing and if you really choose to take it seriously. So I'm hoping that next week or the week after, these numbers kind of change and I'm seeing more yeses. All right, so the next one, the next poll that I'm going to ask is based on the section that we just did a while ago. All right, so based on Shantae's information, I would like for you to answer that question. What is not a way to make money from the stock market, guys? Okay, so look at everybody doing it right. Wow, okay. So basically everybody has an idea of how you gain money from the stock market. It's through capital gains or dividends, because I'm seeing that you guys are saying that debt is not a way. So I'm going to end the poll, right? And you guys can see that all of you guys said debt is not a way. So I'm glad you guys are understanding that. And based on Ashley's presentation, I want to know, why is the JSE noted as one of the top performing stocks in the market? Oh, I'm seeing it has the best brokers. I'm seeing some person saying investors tend to earn a high return on their investment. I'm seeing persons answering saying JSE has short live trading hours. And because we're not going to spend a lot of time on these polls, I'm glad to see that most persons are choosing the center one, the one that says investors tend to earn high returns on their investments, because that is really what makes the JSE so notable. That's why we've been, in attention. We've been getting all of these, accolades and stuff. And I think they put us up on the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ and all of that. So it's because investors in Jamaica tend to earn higher returns, and we're a rapidly growing stock market. So let me just end this poll and we're going to move on to the next section.
So guys, we will now get into the purpose of investing. So Malik will present this and he'll show you exactly why investing is good and what you can gain from it.
All right, guys, tell me if you can see. Are you seeing?
Yeah, it's up normally.
Yeah, we're seeing.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. I'm just cleaning this up. Okay. All right. Hey, guys. The purpose of investing. So back to basics part 1. What are the purposes of making an investment by Malik Smith? So let's get started. Okay. So the first question is, why do people invest? People invest for many reasons. They mainly invest for financial autonomy and independence. They tend to use it as a hedge against inflation for the medium to long run, especially with a time like right now. We've seen a higher level of inflation due to like logistical problems around the globe. So that can cause inflation to rifle up, unfortunately, because too few too much money chasing too few goods. They also invest for retirement without having to solely rely on pension schemes or the government. And pension payments can typically be low. You see this in figure 1, which is on the next page. And they take the money from investments and for the long term and for the medium term to invest into other ventures that can benefit them. This can be education. This can be starting a company. This can be used to support someone else, even charity, and for retirement in the long run. So in figure 1 right here, we see the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, giving out a pension payment to a senior citizen. And it drew a lot of criticism because, as you can see right here, Dudley Morgan, that's the man's name, he received $6,800. And a lot of people would say that's chump change. Arguably, it is chump change, unfortunately. And he could potentially have gotten way much more money from the investment market, from the capital markets, than relying solely on the government and be getting a low pension like this. It drew a lot of criticism because this is the unfortunate reality that many senior citizens in our society is living through. So take notice, learn from this so you don't make the same mistake, unfortunately. How can investments benefit and affect the economy and aggregate welfare of society? So investing can help the economy and society in many ways, such as it diversifies the options for growing wealth and stability of the average man like me and you. Investing on the primary and secondary market helps companies grow and create more jobs, which we all know is good for the economy. Dividends from companies can help investors with wants and needs. So for example, I got a dividend from a company just the other day, and I was happy because that dividend was enough to even just buy a cheese patty or to buy a box food on the road or something like that. Those are stuff in life matter for me, at least for the most part. Dividends from companies can help investors with wants and needs. I just said that, my bad. Consumer decides which companies get the go and which don't. So we decide which companies we like and we invest in them. We support them through the IPO processes and fundraising processes. And we decide which ones we don't. In a free market, the consumer votes with their dollar. Moving right along, and to top it off, investment accounts versus savings accounts. So with the investment account, risk can depend on which stock you buy. So in a blue chip stock like Grace Kennedy or Caribbean Cement, there's not as much risk as there is in buying a company like a small cap company, maybe like Key Investments. The risk can vary when you're investing. Brokerage fees are there for when you're buying and when you're selling. There's also taxes that come out of those fees. And it's a GCT, it's seen as a consumption, so it's 15%. But you have a far higher level of return typically as compared to a savings account from a bank account. With a bank account now, a savings account, you have a lower level of risk. You have multiple fees for the saving account. So you might have a withdrawal fee. You might have a minimum balance fee. And we all know Scotia, NCB, they make all kind of arbitrary fees, obviously, I guess, for their bottom line, such as life. It's also mainly for transactionary purposes. So if you need money right now, you can use that money to do whatever you need to do with it. It's good for an emergency fund, especially for situations like a pandemic or an economic meltdown. You don't really want that money to be in the stock market because the stock market is going to definitely go down, at least for the immediate term. So it would be good because it's highly liquid and you can drag money out just like that to cover costs that you might need to cover. Your money is also insured by JDIC. So that's the Jamaica Depository Insurance Corporation. They insure your money up to 1.2 million Jamaican dollars. So those are the pros and cons, and that's the investment account versus the savings account. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for paying attention, and hopefully you gain lots of value from this.
Thanks, Malik. Great presentation, guys. And you can see that you don't want to be Dudley getting a $6,800 check when you're retiring. So make sure you invest from now. And if you remember, if you were in Club Fusion, we spoke about compound interest, guys. Albert Einstein said it's the eighth wonder of the world. And Jason is going to show you that right now. He's going to break it down for you and show you exactly how it works.
Hi guys, so hi again. Y'all are seeing my screen, right? And hearing me okay? Great,
Yeah,
okay,
both.
cool.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, we're seeing loud and clear.
So let's put this over the side. Let us take 4 people and they're all making the same amount of money, right? You have Joanna, Peter, John, and Marsha all making 100K per year, whatever currency you like, you know, let's hope it's not Jamaican. And they need to spend this currency in different ways. So one thing that this doesn't account for is the fact that as you and I go into the working world, we're likely to gain experience and likely to get more money as we progress over the next 10 years. Imagine earning the same thing you are now in 10 years. That would suck, right? So this is a very conservative outlook to still show you the power of compound interest. And it's going to be even more powerful if you're making more. So let's look at Joanna, for example. So we're first going to make visible these. So we see that she has a 100K salary and spends 80K per year. So she's able to save 20 per year. Now she puts that in an account that gets her a 10% return per year. This is very big compared to what we often experience, but for the purposes of illustration, we're going to use this. So here we see that for the first year, you know, she didn't bring anything over from the last year. Like she just came out of school, had no money, work, put down 20K. So she didn't bring anything over and she has 20K. In year 2, she has the 20K from last year plus the interest that she got. So she has 22K in the bank, puts another 20K from her savings and has 42K, and so on for 10 years. At the end of 10 years, she has $318,748.49, right? That's because she saves 20% of her income and invests. If she didn't invest, no compounding would happen. She just have 20K times 10. So 200K, 2 years worth of her salary. Let's look at Peter now. Let's look at how Peter spends his money. Bear in mind, these people make the same money, right? It's not like, oh, you make more money than me. No. Look at Peter. So Peter spends everything that he has for the first 5 years. He came out of school, tired of this, you know, broke college student life, decided to live it up. And then eventually in his mid-20s, I guess he decided to start saving just like Joanna. So we're going to look at what happened to his money. You know, he had nothing carrying over. So in his 10th year, he's where Joanna was in her 5th year. You know, that's reasonable. So this is just about like what, less than half, no, significantly less than half what she has, even though he saved for half the time that she did. Lesson, start early. The time value of money teaches us that $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. So because Joanna started early, she was able to get a faster rate growing earlier, and she reached the end of the race first. And you want to reach the end of the race first, right? We're in Jamaica and we're known for that. So let's look at John. So we see Joanna, who started saving early, Peter, who eventually caught up and still did okay for himself. He has more than a year's salary saved after 5 years. Let's look at John. Let's look at his expenses and what he managed to save. So whereas John makes $100,000 a year, he spends $110,000 a year. Now there's a 4-letter word starting with D that explains how this is possible. Can anybody tell me why? In the chat, or you can unmute your mic. 4-letter word starting with D. Debt. Great. So instead of saving money or lending money to get interest, John borrows money. Now, this actually should be 1.15. Now, let me tell you something that you guys probably know already. How banks make money, by and large, is they rent money from you and rent it back out at a higher price. That's exactly what they're doing. When you deposit your savings account, your money into your savings or even your investment account, in some of your investment accounts, you're lending the bank money. So they're renting it from you. And then they rent it out at a higher interest rate. So whereas banks will rent it from you at 10%, they're going to rent it out to make extra money. So they don't charge him 10% interest, they charge him 15%. And there's compound interest just working on the bank's part. So at the end of 10 years, he owes over negative 200K. That's crazy. right? And you know, he's not saving 20K, he's borrowing 10K. So like, you'd think that it's because he's using half, it would be, no. Like, debt can balloon and compound interest works. That's why the Albert Einstein quote said, he who doesn't understand it pays it. And John is paying compound interest to the bank. Let's look at Marsha. So filling it in, the first year, she stays at home with her parents after leaving school. So she's able to save 50K, and then, you know, she goes and lives a high life or gets with friends who, you know, like to braff or whatever, so she doesn't save anymore. So let's look at where that gets her. So it's just 50K, and then that 50K alone keeps growing. She doesn't really add to it. And then she has 117K. Notice that with 50,000 10 years ago, she made the same, well, just almost the same as a 20K deposit every year for 5 years, like Peter. So bear in mind, again, the earlier you start, the better it is. Now, whereas compound interest, critics of compound interest say, but look at how long I put money in my savings account, and that's crazy. If you don't have a lot of money, compound interest might not be your biggest friend. However, it still helps you to outrun inflation, what Malik told us about. So you see a nice little thing right here. Now, inflation, let's explain it really simply for those of us who might not remember. In 2008, beef patty cost $60. If you bought somebody a beef patty in 2008 and they say, I'll pay you back, and they wait till 2021 to pay you back, they're going to want to pay you back $60, not 200, 210, whatever a beef patty costs now. So where did all that value go? Inflation. It is an enemy that attacks every single one of us. And we can get into the reasons why inflation happens later on. There's not much good reason for inflation. Like in school, you learn, oh yeah, the economy grows. As technology improves, things should be getting cheaper. Remember that. But anyway, so we're going to use the year one values. So imagine that you're looking at the next 10 years of your life and you're saying, okay, what's the present value of what I could get? So we're going to put these into year one. So we're going to account for inflation using a, what rate did I put over here? Using a 5% inflation rate. You see how 100K plus just came off just like that because of inflation. Let's look at Peter. See, he's under 100K right now. So inflation really brings back down, and the interest rates that you're quoted are called the nominal interest rates, right? And there are two kinds of interest rate. The nominal, which is what they tell you, name, what they name it to you. Oh, I'll pay this to you. And the real interest rate, which is derived by subtracting inflation from the nominal. And the real is what matters, because real is real. Real is the purchasing power that you have. Real is the patties that you can get. Now, remember when I told you if you you've got a patty for somebody that want to give you back $60 now after so long? That happens for debt as well, because the person was in debt to you. You notice that instead of being in the negative 200 and something, he's in the negative 120s. Inflation wipes out debt. So inflation punishes persons who save and work hard, like what we're learning to do in this club, and rewards persons who want to just get rid of money. So this is not me encouraging you guys, oh, well, inflation will happen, so let me just live for now. But whereas inflation costs savers, it helps borrowers because it cuts down on the kind of debt that they have to pay back. Instead of, if I buy you a beef patty right now, how much do I have for you? Oh, $60, it's 2008, you know? Inflation wipes out their value. And let's look at Marsha now. So with her single 50K deposit, she's down to 74. So guys, when you don't really see the value of your money working for you, especially at the beginning, you notice how it's growing really slowly at the start versus like in these years, you know, you gain 20K, it's just there. It's, yeah. This is not to discourage you. It's just to show that it takes time. It takes good interest rates, and the more money you put in, starting earlier, the better. And it's still valuable to invest, because if you are able to outrun inflation, it's much better than putting the money under your mattress. So I hope this has kind of brought to life how people with the same kind of money, under the same kind of circumstances, based on their choices and based on the properties of money, can have totally different outcomes.
So guys, there's a poll up now. Thank you for that presentation, Jason. It was awesome. And you guys can send in your answers for the poll, and later on, Holly will show what the results are. So let's see if you guys are right. I'm submitting my answer now. Hope I'm right. Okay, so now what a lot of you guys are here for. I know this is like your favorite part because on the form you guys filled out, if you signed up for the club, we'll drop that link, by the way, if you haven't signed up already. A lot of you guys said one of the reasons you wanted to join this club is for the stock market. So I'm going to show you on one page with some really cute stickmen exactly how the stock market works. So let's get to it, Hallie. Okay, guys, so we're taking it from the basics. So we've told you how investing works. Jason told you make sure you start early. So guys, here is how you really get a start on it. So let's understand the concept of the stock market. So in the first place, businesses need funding because it's businesses that we're talking about, right, guys? That's what you're putting your money in. But anyways, businesses need funding. So you can, if you're a business person or if you know of businesses, you know, there are two main ways to get funding. It can be debt or equity. Now, debt, of course, is where you borrow money from the bank, or, you know, if you borrow from a family member or a friend, whatever it is, debt. With debt, okay, I'm not seeing the screen anymore. One second, guys.
1 second, it just completely disappeared on me. So we're going back. You guys can see?
Yeah, we're seeing now.
Okay.
Okay, great. Sorry about that, guys. So back to it. Debt, of course, you borrow money from the bank, you pay interest on it, compound interest. You see how that works with Jason's Excel file. So the good thing about that is that if you're a business owner, you keep ownership of the company. But what we're really talking about is equity. So guys, equity, as you can see, we're focusing on the stock market here. So you have a whole pie. The whole pie is the ownership of the company. And how it works is that you split it up into what we call shares. That's a very key word that you'll need to know. Shares, as you can see, those pieces of the pie, and you can purchase it. So those shares represent a portion of the company. So if you own a share, you own a portion of the company. Now, when we talk about shares, there are actually two types. So there are ordinary shares and there are preference shares. If you know a little about the stock market, you might know the difference, but let's look at these graphs to illustrate the difference. So ordinary shares are like what you saw us present before, where you saw Carib Cement Company with the up and down, up and down. And as Malik mentioned, the stock market, it will go down at some point. It will go up and it will go down. But as you can see, overall, there's a general upward trend. So ordinary shares are more volatile. That's another keyword, meaning it will fluctuate more rapidly than a preference share. So if you look at preference share, they're more steady. So it stays at the same price for a while, go down a little bit, go up a little bit, and it keeps that steady overall trend. Now, the major difference is that for preference shares, you are entitled to dividends. So as a preference shareholder, that means when at the end of the day, whether the company makes a profit or not, you have to get paid. You have to, because you are a preference shareholder. You get preference. Now, these are normally long-term investments. Overall, you can invest long-term, but preference shares are normally more long-term than ordinary shares. So if you keep that for a good while, you get your dividends, you reinvest them, you can just keep compounding. So on the other hand, guys, you'll see ordinary shares. So if you try to analyze it a bit, you might see that ordinary shares are trending upwards more. So that's the capital gain. So you start at the bottom here and say by the end of the year, 2 years, you're up here, versus preference shares is more straight like this. So whereas with ordinary shares, you have a right to vote at annual general meetings, AGM, for the companies you invest in, guys. For preference shares, you don't have that right. So for ordinary shares, when you, remember guys, when you have shares in a company, you own a portion of it, you know. It might be like 0.0001%, but it still counts. You own a portion of the company. So you have a right to vote as an ordinary shareholder. So for example, if they want to say, let's go to the market and put out an APO, which we're getting to later, you have a right to vote and say, yes, I'm in favor of this, or no, I'm not. So guys, capital gain versus dividends. So these are the main ways to earn from the stock market. And I know a lot of you guys got that right in the polls before. So capital gain is what I was saying, where you see the trend upwards. So for example, with the volatile charts, you can see it trending upwards. With preference shares, it takes some more time in terms of volatility and the overall trend. So this is the main thing with ordinary shares. Ordinary shares, you're getting that capital gain. So what your shares valued, say a year ago, a month ago, now it values more. So that ties into what Jason was saying and what Malik was saying about beating inflation. So your money is keeping the value of it and even gaining value. On the other hand, we have dividends. So this is where at the end of the day, the company makes a profit and they say, you know what? We don't have debt. We don't have to pay the bank some money. We want to take some of our profits and give it to the shareholders. Not that companies can't have debt and equity, guys, but just for this purpose, say they have come to the market for your money. They want to say, you know what? Thank you for your investment. Here are some dividends. So we're going to be realistic, guys. Dividends, it's not going to be an extreme amount. Like you're not going to come up with twice your money. Let's be real, okay? So maybe like 1% dividends, 2% thereabouts. And it also is up to the company how often they want to pay. So it could be quarterly, it could be semi-annually or annually, or maybe some companies don't pay dividends at all. So you really want to look at the dividend policy of the company you're invested in so that you know what to expect. So let's go down a bit and talk about how a company goes public. So let's say you and your friends decide to make a company. First one, let's call it YIC Company Limited. You have the CEO, that could be your friend, the managing director could be another friend, and you could be the founder, right? So all of you guys own the company because look, you just formed the company. It's yours. You own every single portion of that company. But then you decide you want to grow your company, but you need money. You can't keep going to your family for money. They probably don't have the amount that you need to build this huge building or take on this huge project. So you say, you know what, you're going to go to the general public. So you go to the general public and you have so many people. This is us, guys, the general public, all these 6 people here, this is us. We are the general public and we are the investors. So whereas previously they owned 100%, they've given up a portion of their ownership, and now they only own 30%. So yes, the CEO, founder, managing director, they still own some of the company. They've given up a portion of the company to us, the general public. So they say, you know what, here, I'll give you these shares for this price. I'm inviting you to purchase these shares, and we put our money into the company. So the funds are pumped into it, guys, as you can see, right? So IPO, this is a popular term. It's getting more popular now. You know, the stock market is getting trendy, but guys, let's really understand what we're talking about. So an IPO is an initial public offering. By the word initial, guys, you can tell it means it's the first time they're coming on the stock market. So this can only happen once. So if somebody tell you that an IPO is coming out and the company is already on the stock market, that can't be an IPO. An IPO can only happen once. So here is the process, because maybe you have a stock market already, not a stock market, sorry, an equity account. Maybe you have an equity account already and you've invested in an IPO before, or you would like to. So here is the process of it. So the company invites the general public to buy shares. So remember I told you, they're giving up a portion of their ownership, and that represents shares in the company. Awesome, Sean, I see that you did. So the company is inviting you to purchase shares. They issue a prospectus. A prospectus, that's another keyword, guys. So what that really is this really long document, maybe like 200 pages, sometimes longer, really, really long, but it has a lot of key information that you need to analyze the company. So before you invest in an IPO, guys, you need to check out the prospectus and see what they are offering. And we're actually going to show you where to find these documents later on in today's meeting, actually. So the prospectus will tell you what their aim is, what they're getting the money for, what they're going to use it for. They'll show you their financials, how their balance sheet is looking, how their income statement is looking, the cash flow. You'll analyze everything. You'll hear what the different management team has to say, who is on the management team, because that's important too. Who is managing the company that you're investing in? Do they have good leadership? Can they really take your company to the next level? You have to look at what their plans are with the money. Because it's your money that you're putting in. You have to make sure that is secure. So it's very, very important to understand and analyze the company that you're invested in. So the prospectus is out, you read it, you're excited, you decide to buy, and then you wait a couple of weeks or a couple of days and the offer closes. So now what? You've spent the money, the offer is closed, and then what? So, the offer might close on the closing date, as is also stated in the prospectus, or it might close early if it's oversubscribed. And if you're in tune with the market, you'll see that a lot of IPOs end up getting oversubscribed and close early. So after it closes, you have you have a document issued, which is called the Basis of Allotments. Now, if this sounds like a big term to you guys, what it really is pretty much them saying to you, you know what, we got this much money and here is how much we're going to give you. So if it's oversubscribed, then of course they can't necessarily give you everything you ordered because they have too much of it. So what they might do in that case is give it out on a first come, first served basis. So if you signed up early, you invested early in that IPO, chances are they'll say, okay, you know what? We'll give the first 1,000 persons, since they invested early. Everybody else, you have to get a refund. Or another option could be that you get a percentage of the total order. So if you ordered 100 shares and say the offer is 2 times oversubscribed, they get twice the money that they wanted, or more than that, then you could get, they might say, you know what, we're going to give the general public 80% of the shares because we need to allocate for everyone to get, they want everybody to get a little piece of the company. So of course, if you don't get everything you ordered, if you ordered 100 shares and you get 80, then you might say like, so where the rest of my money gone? Don't worry guys, you will get your refund. So don't worry, just check your account and it will be there. They'll give you your refund in due time, very quickly. Or another option could be that they upsize the offer. And if you're in tune with the market too, you'll see that happened with Barita, which is an APO, which we're gonna get into. So guys, the offer closes, the basis of allotment is done, and then the shares are issued. So this will hit your account and you'll see it come up. If this is your first investment, you might be really excited. You log into your trading platform, whichever one you choose. You see your symbol come up, symbol meaning whichever, wait, 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I was having a little background noise. So, guys, the shares hit your account, and if this is your first purchase of shares, you might be really excited. You see it come up, and you see how much money invested, and you check a month later, and you see your money growing. It's really exciting, guys, especially when you're just starting out. So, trading begins, and you start to earn money, whether it's by capital gain or by dividend payments, which we explained before. So if your stock is growing, if you bought it for $1 and then in a month, say it's $1.05, then you've earned some money on it. And if you keep it for the long term and the company makes a good profit from how their business is going, because remember, you would have analyzed it and see if it's a good company. So if things are going well, they're handling the finances well, making a good profit, they might say, hey, you know what, we're paying out dividends next year or in the next quarter. And you will see that on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, which we're going to show you. But before that, let's differentiate between an IPO and an APO. So guys, it's pretty much the same process, but the key difference is APO is for additional public offering. So additional meaning the company is already on the stock market and they want to buy more shares. They want to sell more shares, sorry. They want to issue more shares. So remember how earlier we said they gave up 70% and you and your friends only own 30%. So you own that 30% and it's still very valuable. So you say, you know what, you want some more money. So you sell 10% more of the company. And then you have 20% for you and your friends. And then the general public owns 80%. So guys, an APO can only happen if a company is already listed on the stock exchange. So the key difference is in the term itself. Initial, meaning first time. Additional, meaning it's already happened and it's happening again. So if any of this interests you guys, yeah, like Barita APO that just happened, guys, if you are in tune with the market, you'll see the shares were just hitting the account today or last night. There are going to be a whole lot more opportunities like that, so stay tuned with the stock market. We're going to show you exactly the Jamaica Stock Exchange website and show you how to navigate it. So we'll get into the next part.
All right, so guys, one of the biggest things that we get questioned about is brokers. So, you know, how we told you about the stock market and how it really works, but how do you actually start and how do you get to that point where you're, you know, trading live and buying stocks and selling stocks? So there are a lot of brokers in Jamaica. So I'm just going to let Ashley just explain what a broker is again so you guys can understand.
If my background sounds noisy, guys, my apologies. So there are 13 stockbrokers listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, which you can see on their website. This includes JMMB Securities Limited, NCB Capital Markets, Mayberry Investment, Barita Investment, among others. So if you visit the website, you'll be able to see the others that are listed and read more about them. But Hallie's going to get a little bit more into it. And just to remind you, stockbroker is the direct link between the investor and the stock market. Ali?
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing Hallie.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, so as Ashley said, there's about 13 brokers in Jamaica, right? But we're not going to talk about all those because only a few are really accessible to students. You have some brokers with some exorbitant minimum requirements. For example, Mayberry, whose starting capital you have to have $1 million Jamaican dollars. And, you know, we in the exec, we know that that's not accessible for most students. And there are just certain brokers that are best suited for us. So we're going to tell you about a few that we as exec members actually have experience with these different brokers. So, you know, we have JMMB, we have NCB Capital Markets, we have Sagicor, as Sebastian is saying, and we have
Barita. So we're also not going to get into the minimum requirements or the fees, because there is one document on the internet which was developed by Kalila Reynolds and her media group, which tells you everything you need to know, like literally everything. We were even going to make one for our club specifically, but this is it covers so much, and it even has surveys for you guys to really understand things about like the quality of the information, So you can see that in this one you have Barita. And we're not going to go through all of these because this document is linked in our link in bio. And I think Matthew is going to send it in the chat as well so you guys can have access to it. But I'm just going to show you what it has. So you have Barita, you have the minimum funds, and this one is a little bit higher than the others that we suggested. So it's $25,000. You have the commissions, and it talks about all of these different features and all of those different things. It talks about if it has an online platform, access to advice, quality of advice, fees, and overall satisfaction. So this is definitely, when you guys are looking into brokers, I would suggest that you look into JMMB, NCB Capital Markets, Barita, and Sagicor. And JMMB tends to be the most popular amongst persons our age. And well, I guess I can allow Jason and Matthew to really say anything they want to say about JMMB.
I don't know if Matthew has anything to say, but I mean, I love JMMB personally, customer service wise. My experience with other places, well, I've only invested with JMMB, even though I've done banking with other places. And in any case, JMMB's customer service is their highlight for me. I also find that their particular financial packages are nice, as in their USD income distribution fund, I think, gets reasonable return, and that's like a unit trust. You don't really have to watch that or like pick this stock, oh, that's going down, sell that, oh, buy this one. Like I just like what they do, and they're also low barriers to entry for students to get in. So you don't need like an exorbitant fee, or you don't need a heap of paperwork. It's pretty simple, straightforward, people centric. That's why I like it.
Yeah, and I think one of the main things that affects students is the proof of income part of the requirements. So like, you have to go to the bank and you have to submit a proof of income or proof of funds. And I believe JMMB has they can verbally accept your proof of income as a student. So that is something that is kind of unique to JMMB, because if you go to NCB or even if you go to Barita, I had to use my brother's, income stuff to open my Barita account, and it can get a little bit difficult. So definitely JMMB is just way more student centric, and they think about us as well. So the next one is NCB Capital Markets. And NCB Capital Markets, if you were in this club last semester, you would know that I'm not the biggest fan of NCB. I've had a lot of terrible experiences with them, with their banking and with capital markets. However, I'm going to try to be unbiased. So NCB, and I think this is a common kind of advantage with JMMB, NCB Capital is attached to a bank. So because it's attached to a bank, there's just this ease and convenience to transfer money into your account, right? And I believe there was a conversation in the group chat last night about NCB, and if it was a good broker, and somebody mentioned that the minimum requirement was 50,000. NCB is like UE. If you try to contact 5 persons, you're going to get 5 different answers, right? So it is not $50,000 for the minimum requirement. However, I think NCB has their own personal platform, and they also allow JTrader access. And if you want to do a funds in request with JTrader, which I'm going to show you because we have pictures of all of those different platforms, we're going to run through them really quickly. NCB, to approve the funds in request on JTrader, it has to be a minimum of $50,000. But you can open an NCB Capital Market and trade with NCB's platform, and you should be fine. I don't think there's any minimum requirement there. Barita, what I can say about Barita is the customer service is incredible. It's incredible. Right? My financial advisor reaches out to me. They said that their analysis and everything, but it's just a very good broker, right? The minimum requirement is a little bit higher than some of the others, but I think it's a little bit worth it. And the only thing is that it's not attached to a bank, so you have to send the money to their bank account first, and then they have to, see proof of funds received and all those types of stuff. It's a little bit inconvenient compared to NCB or JMMB, but it is a quality broker. And they also use JTrader, so you're going to be seeing the JTrader platform and kind of understand what that's about. And I think finally there's Sajikor, who Malik can speak about.
All right, hey again, guys. I use Sagicor Investments. I mainly use it because of low cost. Sagicor has like some of the lowest cost in the game. I think they charge about 0.50% for every transaction, which is it's night and day compared to like 0.75, 1%, 2%. They have access to JTrader Pro, which is the Jamaica Stock Exchange's own trading platform. It has a lot of benefits to it. You can cancel, you can buy, sell, you can do a lot of stuff by the snap of a finger. It is pretty good, and Moneyline is pretty good as well. They also have a low starting cost. I think it's either $500 or you just buy whichever stock you want to buy. So if there's a stock for $10, you just buy that stock and then you get to go right there. So yeah, it's pretty good. The only thing I could complain about is it is hard sometimes to get in contact with the wealth advisors there, because apparently they have a lot of people calling, but you can email them with certain emails and you get through to them like in short notice, like in a short order, if you want to say so.
I think the calling thing is going to be a common problem across a lot of brokers, because these brokers, these financial advisors, they have some very big clients, guys, and you have to be realistic. Yeah. They have some very big clients and they're not gonna pay attention to us. So it's really important for you to do your own research and your own analysis, because while the company or the broker might send up their own analysis, you're not gonna have the same access to a financial advisor as somebody who has millions and millions of dollars in their investment account, right? And as I said before, all of the fees, all of the minimum requirements, and all those little things that can affect your broker decision are in this broker guide that Kalila Reynolds made. So I would suggest that you guys look at it, and there's 13 in there, but I would suggest look at NCB Cap, JMMB, Sagicor, and Barita. Those are the ones that I would suggest. So we're gonna move on to just looking at some of these platforms, because as Malik said, JMMB has Moneyline, right? Sagicor uses JTrader, Barita uses JTrader, and NCB uses both. So you can have both platforms there. And
Holly, just to quickly add there though, with NCB cap markets, if my mind serves me right, they charge more money. I think maybe 2% to trade on JTrader, but they charge less to trade on their own platform. But their platform is written. Yeah, it's written. It's riddled with bugs. So this.
Yes. So we're gonna go into the NCB. There's a thing I have to say about NCB, but yeah. Which platform facilitates day trading? All of them.
So guys, just to be really clear, guys, if you're completely new to what we're talking about, you can go through the broker guide and decide which broker you want to go to. You call them, but guys, you need these few important documents. You need your TRN, like from your government ID, if you have a driver's license or a passport or anything like that. You need a proof of address. So, if you have a light bill, for example, or any letter, anything that you have gotten from the post office, or if
you guys can actually get an envelope and go to the post office and just ask them to stamp it. So that's something that you can do.
Or I think a bank statement should work too, because that should have the address on it.
Bank statement also works.
So if you have a bank account, you contact your bank, ask them for the statement. So that could be your proof of address. So government ID, proof of address, source of funds. So of course, most of us are students, so you can let them know that you're a student and your source of funds is probably savings. Or if you do have a job, then of course that's easier to show your salary statement. Jason, you were saying
Victoria?
something?
Oh yeah, I was saying that if all else fails, you can get a letter from a justice of the peace to say that, okay, this person lives here. So I mean, that's usually annoying to get, because to pin them down and to go there. But what Hallie said, the envelope, just stamp it. That's like one of the cheapest and easiest ways to get a proof of address.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
just
yeah,
in
two
just to
references.
just to add quickly, I think Sagicor, if there's any instance where you can't go to a location to give all the information physically, I think Sagicor does actually make you upload all the documents to that you need to start your investment account. Because I opened a bank account there and I didn't go there once physically. I did everything online. So if you can't do everything, sorry about that. If you guys can't go anywhere physically, then maybe you can also look into Sagicor Investments, where you could upload all the documents needed. I know Sagicor Bank takes that, so you can go ahead, Victoria.
Yeah, that's really, especially with the way COVID has changed things, guys, you can really, really get started. Like today, if you choose, you can search up the brokers that you like. And most of them, being that times have changed with COVID, have a process where you can start opening your accounts online. So you can say they might have forms to download and you can fill them out. Or if you have your stuff ready, like your government ID, whether it's a driver's license or passport, you can scan it, start uploading it. So whenever you're ready, guys, just search it up, have those documents ready. Proof of address, government ID, proof of income, and two references as well. So you need two references, contact information. So if you know a JP or two, ask them if they will be references for you, because the bank will actually call and say, is this a good person? Can I open an account with them? Yeah. So make the first step, guys. So we're going to show you the platforms now.
So guys, remember all that's in the broker guide, so you guys can just look on that and just make sure. That is a very well researched, lot of detail, a lot of information in there, so that should be a reliable way of doing it. And yes, Justin, Barita is very understanding and they're very patient. But like every other broker, they have some strict requirements that they have to do. So, and the meeting is being recorded, so you guys should be able, if you want to leave now, you guys should be able to watch the rest of it. So we're just going to quickly run through the platforms, because I think Sean said something about not being able to day trade on GMMB. So yeah, so basically all of the brokers that we have suggested should allow day trading. So GMMB Moneyline should be okay enough for day trading. JTrader should be okay. And
yeah, guys, to be honest with you, JMMB is actually the best for day trading because they have the live trades. And that's actually unique to Moneyline. You can actually see the live trades going through. So you can see at 9:30 when the stock market just opened, these are the trades that went through. This is the price people are buying and selling at. And by the way, the market opens at 9:30 a.m. and closes at 1 p.m. Just so you guys know.
So we're going to show you all of those differences, but all of the ones that we are suggesting to you guys should allow day trading. So I don't exactly know what the thing is with Moneyline, why you don't, you can't access that facility. But let's go through what Moneyline offers. And personally, I don't have a GMMB account. I use Barita and NCB, and what I've seen from Moneyline is just way superior to those platforms. Even JTrader does not offer the type of information that Moneyline offers. All right, so we're going to talk about the trading platform. So where exactly can you buy and sell? So if you are a GMMB client, and we talked about those broker stuff, you have access to your personal Moneyline, and you can see right here that it also shows you your entire portfolio. So how many stocks you have, the units, the price, and the time that you bought it. Right?
So guys,
so that's there.
Wait, guys, before you move on, just a key point too. GMMB also is a bank, and be very clear that a bank is different from a broker. So if you have a bank account, it's very, very, very easy to transfer money back and forth. So this is the homepage that you'll see when you log into Moneyline, which is GMMB's platform. So if you have a bank account, you'll see it at the top, and right below you'll see it at the bottom. So as you can see on this example here, it's a bit blurry, but down here you can see the stocks that are there. What's blocked out is actually the money. So you'll see exactly the breakdown. And if you want to make a transfer, it's really, really easy.
So as you said, GMMB and NCB they kind of have that advantage there, and probably the same thing as same thing with Sagicor. So once these brokers are attached to an actual bank, it's very easy to transfer money between them. And Barita actually uses they have several bank accounts. They have CIBC that I know of, and you can do, if you're doing CIBC to CIBC, it's an instantaneous transaction, so it shouldn't be that long to get in. So while it's a little bit less convenient, it is not that bad. The next thing is that from Moneyline, you can see how you purchase your stocks. So basically, you have.
Yeah, guys, this is literally what it looks like when you're buying stocks. So remember, we're talking about beginning with the end in mind. I want you guys to see yourself here purchasing equity stocks. So as you can see, you'll get used to the symbols, the name of the companies, and the price. So as you can see, the buy orders and the sell orders are on the right side. So that will show you what's in the queue. So these orders haven't gone through yet, but these are the orders that are there. So for example, if you want to buy this stock at the lowest price available, you would have to pay $5.72. And it shows you a market summary there. But if we take a closer look and scroll down, then you'll see the whole stock market summary. And guys, I personally think this is so beautiful, the way that they have everything outlined. So you can see right there how many stocks advanced, meaning capital gain, guys, and how many declined, because of course stocks will go up and down. How many traded firm, meaning it didn't go up or down, it just went straight. So this will
I
show
think
you.
before you move on really quickly, I think Sean was asking how do you access this part of Moneyline. So you would hover over other services. You should see that right at the top. And then you should see
Stock market
summary. Yeah, and that's what you access right here.
So if you had a problem with day trading, it might be that you didn't know how to access this. So now you know other services, stock market summary. It's beautiful, guys. Let's look some more. So if you click on one of these, this is what will come up. So this is Barita, for example. Look at this chart of the trades today, guys. This is unique to Moneyline, and I think it's a great feature, especially for day traders. So anyone at all, but you can see that chart right there is, as you can see, from 9:30 to 1 p.m. It will show you how the price is going up and down. So you see it spiked at around 10:30, and then later on in the day it went back down, and you're seeing the actual live trades. There's actually no other platform that does this, to be honest. Shows you the live trades, so that's a huge advantage. And you can see here, you can see the charts, whether you want to see how the stock was performing over 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, however long, guys, or the maximum amount of time. So this is JMB Moneyline. So now we'll look at Sagicor, I believe is next, JTrader Pro.
So very quickly before you move on to JTrader, I just wanted to correct something that you guys said. I and a lot of people disagree that Moneyline is the best for J trading. Yes, it has the fancy features and the nice looking interface, but it's a bit slower than JTrader. So if you want to get in quickly and get out quickly, which is what a lot of day traders prioritize, JTrader is definitely better than Moneyline. Moneyline, sometimes there's a little delay in putting orders through and on cancellations, etc. But yeah.
So Matthew, are you mixing it up with the email? Because, for example, the email takes a while to come, but if you actually look in the last trade, if you order,
he's not mixing it up, man, because he's been complaining about it for a while.
Okay.
So there is a little lag.
Yeah,
so
I saw the lag with the
off,
email.
No, so if you send off a trade or whatever, it's not gonna automatically come up in JTrader. So I've been in situations with Matthew where he sends off trades and he asks me to go on JTrader and check if it's in there, and it is not an instant thing. So you will see it in the Moneyline train itself, in the Moneyline queue, but it takes a little while for them to send it over to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. So the JTrader platform is definitely the quickest platform. Instant cancellations, instant selling. Like there's no lag there. But for information, as we said before, Moneyline is definitely superior because in JTrader, we don't have access to this. We don't have access to the past trades. We just see the queue and we see a chart. And we also don't have multiple charts to look at. So we're going to show that right now. right? So this is JTrader. This is JTrader, and with JTrader, it's a central platform. So if your broker offers JTrader access, you can have multiple brokers on it. So right here, I have my NCB account and my Barista account on JTrader. So when I'm executing trades, when you're executing trades, you can choose between whichever ones you want to get. And you have your active orders and your pending fund requests. So the thing with the fund request now is that because you are using a broker, your money is in your brokerage account, you have to request funds to come in and request funds to go out. That's what I was saying with NCB, where the minimum requirement is not $50,000, right? But for them to approve this funds in request, it has to be 50,000, and that was, well, the last time I checked, that's what, yeah. So it has to be 50,000, but I don't know if that's changed because NCB have gone through some kind of redesign recently. So let's move on to this. So when you go into, if you see right here, you see markets. If you click on markets, you can see all the market indices. All right, so you see the main index, the manufacturing distribution, all of them right there, so, which basically show the direction in which this collective, a group of stocks move. So if you have your manufacturing distribution index, you might have companies like Select MD, well, not companies, like stocks.
Select MD, last D. Yeah, it shows you the whole cap of the section.
Yeah, it shows all of those. So all of those are collectively put into an index and their movements are tracked. So yes, so let's move on. So you can see the main market. If you were right here, you'll be able to junior market, bond market, and the US ones. And you'll be able to see all the symbols and everything, the market status, the best bid, best ask, all of those different stuff, right? Moving on. So when you click on one of these, so I chose to use Barita since it was used up at the top. When you click on it, you see a chart. And this is a general chart. This is the only chart available, unlike Moneyline. All right, this is last traded price, all of those different types of things. Yeah. Huh?
Oh, you said Moneyline by accident, but JTrader.
No, I said this is only one chart, unlike Moneyline, who gives you access to multiple different types of charts.
Oh, my bad.
So you have this here, you have all this information, and you have your buy orders and your sell orders, so you can see all that, but you cannot see trades that have happened during the day. You can only see the low and the high, right? So I'm sorry, guys, that we're running a little bit late. I understand how often you guys have class. If you guys are interested in, if you guys are interested in getting more information about any of these brokers and you have to leave now, you guys can message any of us in the group, right? Or just PM us. We don't really mind, and we'll answer any questions that you guys have. So you see that we have the buy orders and the sell orders, and this is basically, if you click on sell or buy right here, you go into this page where you can select your JCSD account, which I would say, NCB or Barita, right? You can choose buy or sell, your symbol, your order type, your quantity, your price, your expiry type, and your expiry date, and you review your request.
You can also use a calculator to see how things would be broken down, but there's a calculator, that red square up there. That's very useful, very, very useful when you're going fast.
Okay. So then you have right here, if you clicked on trade, you can view your past orders, right? So I went way back in the year, and I do a lot of foolishness, cancel and all of something there. So you can see the status. So you will see which JCSD account you're using. You'll see the status if it's canceled. Yes, the recording will be available for review. It's on our YouTube channel. So yeah, you can see whether it has been filled, if it has been queued, your action, seller, buy, and whichever symbols, whichever stocks you're trying to buy. So you'll be able to see all of your past transactions.
Just to throw my 2 cents there quickly, Holly, you can also edit, and once you edit, it takes within a few seconds to change on the market right there. So you could go and press edit like down there on the bottom right, and then you can change it and it happens quickly, as well as cancel and delete and everything else.
Yeah. So if it is not completely filled, as in like these, like if this is queued, it's in the queue already and it hasn't been filled by somebody else. Remember, it's a bid situation, so if somebody hasn't actually taken up my stock, Yeah, if somebody hasn't actually taken up my stocks, it will still be there, and I can still edit it up to this day, even though it has been there for a very long time, right? So it's a good feature and it happens instantaneous. It's something that, you know, is a little bit better than Moneyline because, as you said, Matic sort of he would have had problems with the lagging situations of Moneyline. So yes, Malik, it also depends on what you want and what you're looking for.
Yeah.
I think Moneyline has very good information, but JTrader is definitely superior when it comes to executing trades on time and, you know, just managing that.
By any chance, if you do end up with JTrader, there are other websites that can show you more information, but I'd want Hallie to continue now and stop pushing it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the NCB Capital Market situation. NCB Capital Markets charges you more in commission to use JTrader than their platform. And before, I used to complain about this, mommy. Before, they used to have this terrible platform, and you could barely see the tickers, you could barely see the queue or anything like that. But NCB has recently updated their platform, and it still has some glitches, which I'm going to talk to you guys about. So you see your capital markets account right here. If you click on your account numbers, you'll be able to go in and see your portfolio and the breakdown and everything. So this recent history or the transfer history is basically the money moving from my bank account to my capital markets account. So it shows all of that as well. And it's really easy, instantaneous, which is why I appreciate that convenience, right? So when you go into your portfolio, and you will see the breakdown on your stocks, right? And this is a new thing. This wasn't there before. You'll see the market value, the unrealized gain or loss, which is the dollar value, the unrealized loss in the percentage. And for this, I chose to allow you guys to see carried cement and mail pack. So you'll be able to see the percentage increase and the percentage decrease, right? And you'll also be able to see the market value of your portfolio, your unrealized gains and loss, and your unrealized gains and loss in percentage and dollars. The problem is this currently is incorrect because this is, I know you guys don't see it, but this is not my market value of my portfolio, right? I know my portfolio value and this is not it. So it still has some glitches there. And also, when you click on the stock itself, you'll be able to see a little chart, nothing like what Moneyline offers, but it's there and it wasn't there before, so you have to be grateful. You'll be able to see all of this and, you know, all of the information of your stock, and you'll be able to buy or sell. So when you choose buy more or sell, it will lead you to basically this. And you'll be able to look through and select your stock, and you'll be able to see all of the information on the last traded price, the reference price, number of trades and all that. And you'll be able to see the queue and also compare the queue. So we just bring it up big like that so you can just scroll through and see everything you need, right? But I don't trust NCB to do things on time. I put in a trade just to test it. I put in a trade and it took about 2 minutes for it to actually show up on JTrader. So with similar to JMB, it has a little bit of a lag. So if you are, you know, an aggressive trader and you see this opportunity and you want it now, Moneyline and NCB Cap, this platform that NCB Capital Markets offers is probably not the best for you. JTrader is probably the best. So
speaking of lag, I've also heard of an issue where when there's an IPO going on or an APO going on, JTrader and Moneyline will get the APO and IPO shares filled into their account the night before, and then capital market people are like, wait, hold up, what's going on? There's a lag to do with that as well, I've heard.
There is a lag.
So even Barita, I think their APO shares came out last night. I don't know if the cap market people had it in their accounts last night, but I'm not fully sure.
Yes, that has happened to me before. I'm telling you, I've had some very bad experience with NCB, but there is a convenience there, which is why I'm not going to try and deter you guys from it. But I've been in situations where I've, you know, participated in an IPO, and all of my friends then get them stocks, you know, allotments and everything. And I look in my account 1 day, 2 days after, I don't see nothing. And that is very annoying. It's just a very annoying financial group in total. But there is a convenience there, and you can see the effort that they're trying to improve, right? So that's basically it. Those are the different ones. So if you are an investor just starting out and you're interested in JTrader access, I would suggest go towards Sagicor. And if you're just starting out and you really want a very, you know, good access to information, like you're not you're not as good with the whole analysis thing as other persons might be, Moneyline might be it. But NCB Cap is one of the biggest brokers, one of the biggest banks. It is also very useful to have them as a broker and as a bank. It is good to have as a account, but you don't really have to use it if you don't want to. And that's basically all of the brokers that we would suggest on all the platforms. So I hope that helps you with your decision. All right, so now we're going to talk about the Jamaica Stock Exchange, even though we're over time. Do you guys want to leave this until next week?
I mean, I could cut it down for them quickly and just say what we're planning, what we're doing, and then we'll just send the rest of the information in the group chat. And we could also just do that quickly.
I think we can share screen super quick with the Jam StockX website since you promised us. So I'm sure you guys want to know where you can access information about companies. So I think Matthew is going to share his screen. Matthew Baker, are you? Yeah. So guys, here's how
you're sharing my screen, right?
Yep.
You're seeing my screen, right? Okay. So to access the Jamaica Stock Exchange's website, you can simply,
Thank you.
You can simply just type in JSE, and it should be the first result into Google. Or in case you want to know the actual, URL, it's jamstockx.com. So when you go there, you'll be greeted with this page. Since you're running a bit low on time, I'll just keep it to the basics or the three most important sections, in my opinion. So one of the most important sections, and it's a section that I visit the most, is this news tab right here. So whenever whenever new things happen or get released to the stock exchange, the news comes up right here on this tab. So for example, when directors buy and sell shares in their company, they have to publish that. So like you have information about that, right here for Panjam. Some information about, Fesco doing the same thing, NCB issuing a bond. A lot of information like that gets released right here, and it's super important. This tab is how you keep up to date. It's one of the two ways in how you keep up to date with the stock market.
And guys, remember, really quick, remember I spoke about a prospectus when we were going through the IPO. That is where you'd find it. On this website, you'll find the prospectus, and you can look through everything about the companies you're interested in.
Oftentimes, you'll get an edge by seeing news like right here before it actually hits like the Observer or, different group chats and whatever. The second most important, well, let me not say second, another important area is this section right here, the Instrument Lookup Tab. So someone give me a company, any company on the stock exchange.
Very sincere, honest.
Barito, yeah. So you can scroll down and find Barito, or you can simply type in Barito Investments and then click View. And then you'll be greeted with this. So just like it's on JTrader, it is literally the exact same chart. You can see information from as far back as 2019, I believe. 2019, a year ago, from the start of this year, 6 months, etc. And you can also see the volumes that have traded over that period of time. So for example, we see on Tuesday this week, 38 million shares of Barito was traded on the market.
Guys, scrolling down. Quick comparison too. When you click all on this, for some reason it stopped at like 2019. I think it just stopped at 2 years ago. But on Moneyline, you can actually see the entire history from the company came out. So just to be clear on where you can access information. So yeah.
Yeah, so scrolling down, this is a bit more technical or advanced, but you have the candlestick chart and the Ohlc chart. So this just shows you information about how this specific stock traded over the day. So you'll see it shows you the opening price, the closing price, the highest it went in a day, and the lowest it went in a day. And the OHLC pretty much does the same thing. It just looks different, a lot worse in my opinion, but yeah. So when you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you will see just some pricing and general information about the company. So you see the amount of shares outstanding right here. I'm not sure if this is up to date with the APO that just closed, but you see that information here. You see the market value of the company. So we see that Barita is a $131 billion company. And then you see some pricing information like how it moved, like from the start of this week to now, from the start of this month to now, and so on. And you also see like last traded price, the range that it traded today, the range that it traded over the past 52 weeks, etc. So remember the news tab that I just told you about? The news relating to this specific company, it will come, you can find it in these tabs over here. So you have the latest news tab, which like Victoria said earlier, you have the APO prospectus right here. And trading in shares, appointing managers, etc., declaring dividends, you'll see all of that right here. So going back, companies, they're required to put out news every three, not news, they're required to publish their financial results every 3 months. So you'll see that in this tab right here. So this is the latest one. They corrected something up here. So this is the latest one that came out in August. You can simply click on it and then click on the quarterly financial statements, and then it will open up right here and you can look at them. So they typically have a little write-up by the directors of the company, like telling you what's going on. And then if you scroll further down, you will, this one is quite long in terms of the write-up, but you'll see like the actual performance of the company.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
okay.
Then once a year, these companies are required to get their financial results audited. And that just basically means checked by a third party to ensure that, you know, these numbers are accurate and they're not, you know, lying to you and anything like that. So it's the same procedure. You click on it, you will see like an auditor's report. So they're telling you what they think of this. And then you see the results down here. Another important section, the final section for, you know, this website is the daily market quotes or the daily market summary. I prefer to use a quote since it has more information, but it just shows you the movement of the entire market over the day. So it has the different indices and then the different, you know, stocks. But remember, I just showed you the chart for Barita. It only went back to 2018, 2019. Let's say you wanted information from, you know, a lot longer than that. You can always come here and then let's say you wanted information from, I don't know, 2004, July 13 or whatever. You're just putting that date and then you can find that pricing information. And as you can see, the stock market was way smaller back then than it was now. So that is pretty much it for.
I think you can also go to any specific company and you can also do the exact same thing, because I think I checked Caribbean Cement's stock price and movement from back in like the 90s as well. So I think that's a possibility, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, as you realize, there's a lot of information on the JC site. There's a lot there and you can learn a lot from utilizing it. Matthew really focused on some key sections. The news, the market data, and all the stuff. They're very important for you to follow. So I'm sorry that we went over time, right? Half an hour basically, but we are going to try to summarize whatever, you know, we talked about in the last parts of this meeting and send it in the group so you guys don't really have to rewatch it if you were here. The other thing is that I sent a poll a while ago asking about the dues amount, and some of you guys put 1,500, some of you guys put 2,000. And I really want to make it clear that I'm pretty sure some of you guys never came in outside of the meeting and you didn't hear the announcement, but we recently reopened our dormant bank accounts and we actually have a balance in there. And now that we have a balance, we can reduce how much money we are charging you guys for dues. So we have decided as an exec to waive that induction fee of 500 and to reduce the whole dues from 1,500 to 1,000. And this is very important, and most of the persons had to leave for class, so we're going to make sure to reiterate it in the group chat. So our dues are now $1,000 for the entire year, and the only additional fees that you might have to pay there, well, not have to, if you want to pay, are probably going to be the merch, the shirts and the mask and the stuff that Matthew had presented. So the dues is $1,000 for the entire year, and that is a part of your membership requirement. And as you can see on the screen, we have a bank account, 4041722204. It's the NCB UE Bank, and it's a UE branch, and it's a checking account. So we will post that information in the group so that you guys can have that information. And if you send the money, just please send a confirmation just to make sure that there is a handoff there, because we all know how NCB is. So guys, we really need the dues. We reduced it because we know that we didn't need that much. So we are at the level which we actually need, right? And I know you guys say, oh, online, we don't have any expenses, but we do. And it is very important that you guys pay those dues. And we are a non-profit. We're not going to pressure you guys for money. We're asking for what? Where will it be located? What does that mean? It's the UE branch in UE, yeah. So the UE NCB branch. So guys, please pay dues and please come out to at least 60% of the meetings, because we are taking attendance and we love the participation, we love the involvement, and we hope that moving forward we can be a little bit more efficient. Next week we're gonna have a guest speaker, Jeremy McDonald, and I'm sure he's gonna have a lot of information for you guys. We're gonna try to really plan this out efficiently and have it done properly. And also, guys, another thing that is very important, and we're gonna have to reiterate in the group, is that we have gained access to the Jamaica Stock Exchange game, that stock market game. Where can you transfer the induction?
So guys, if you're wondering, oh sorry, Holly, I was
just saying that we have waived the induction fee completely.
Yeah. So if you're wondering the expenses, guys, Zoom, of course, we're on Zoom right now. And some really big news that Holly was just saying, we have our own Jamaica Stock Exchange game. So Malik is going to tell you guys about this really quick, guys. You can trade with virtual money. So before you risk your real money and put it into the real world, you can start with virtual money. So Malik, tell us about it.
All right, guys, right before we close off the meeting, let me tell you about the Jamaica Stock Exchange game. So you might have heard of this game before for high school or for universities or for like just private people who are there in the public who can just jump on and make an account and jump into the game. So it's basically a game that's put on by the stock exchange. And you basically paper trade. So you'll buy and sell shares that actually are traded on the market using real world metrics. So for an example, Barita went up by a lot today. If you had Barita in the game, you would gain value. You'd gain fake money, technically, or like digital money. It's not real, it's paper trading, and it's just to give you some level of experience and to give you some knowledge on how the market actually works. So if you've heard of this before, then that's good. We'll give you more information, but this is just brief right now. I'll give you more information in the group chat and also next week after Jeremy McDonald is finished presenting. So yeah, looking forward to it.
So right, Social is basically a demo account. So you'll be able to practice doing your stocks. If you're a beginner, you get access to this. And it actually starts tomorrow. So we need you guys to register so that we can send your names into the Jamaica Stock Exchange so that you can have access to this platform as soon as possible. right? So we're going to set up a form. You guys just put your name, your email address, and your contact information, personal or business. It's a business that, if you ask me about bank accounts, it's a business account, so it's a checking account. And we will send all that information in there. So we're going to be sending, make sure you're actually in the group, and we're going to be sending that information in the group so that we can get the registrations in. And I think
Just
that's
to clarify something that Hallie just said, the stock game doesn't start tomorrow. It starts, I think,
11th.
sometime next week.
Oh,
the
yeah.
11th of October.
It starts Monday, October 11, yeah.
Yeah, so
So
there is
start
a
on
bit of
Monday
time for you
to-
guys to get ready and whatever. We'll give you the details with enough,
So guys,
you know, yeah.
That's 2 Mondays from now. So in the meantime, share it with your friends. Tell them about the Young Investors Club, because this is an incredible opportunity to practice investing with virtual money before you go in the real world. Because guys, I'll tell you, you gain knowledge from experience. Like, this is the place to make your losses, to make all your mistakes. I'm telling you guys, this is an incredible opportunity. So make sure you spread the word. Start looking at the JamStockX website. Make sure you're signed up for the club so you get all the information we're going to send in the group chat. So this is an incredible opportunity, guys. Looking forward to seeing you again.
And to make it sweeter, we might just give out a prize. So I would really recommend you to jump into this when we send out that form. Hallie?
Yeah, so this is basically the end of the meeting. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. I know that we went overtime and we lost a few persons, but we had an incredible meeting today and we had an incredible turnout, and I don't think we can even express how grateful we are for you guys to be here and be involved. So just thank you for that, and I hope to see most of you or all of you at the next meeting, and Malik will be able to go more in depth with the stock market game and all of these different things. So I hope you guys have a good day, good weekend. Goodbye.
Thank you guys for coming. It was an incredible meeting and we're looking forward to seeing you next week. Bye guys.
Bye guys, stay safe.
Bye guys.
See you around. Thanks for coming.
And may the gains be upon you. Yeah.
Yep.